I am Pam Shaffer. I am a musician in Los Angeles. I was born here and raised here, which is weird. I am a native. I play the piano and the omnichord and the marxophone and the harmonium and the glockenspiel. Yes, and sometimes a drum.
How did you get started as a musician? When did your interests begin?
Pretty much as long as I could remember. Like, apparently when I was little, I used to try and play what my sister had played on the piano, and my teacher wouldn't take me until I was 5 because I couldn't reach a fifth on the piano. She's like, no, I can't teach you until you can actually like get the right finger patterns down. But pretty much as long as I could remember, I always wanted to play the piano. And I would start singing about things, like my very first song was when I was a little kid. I sung about a baby falling out of a tree and there being a news alert about it. I think it was part deranged humor and part rockabye. But yeah, I always went to musicals with my parents and the symphony and whatnot, and I always I was very enamored with it.
Has it been difficult breaking into the music industry?
I would say so, and I don't know what constitutes even now being in the music industry. Like, it's strange because one of my friends just won a Golden Globe for being in the music industry, and I'm like, yeah, go you! And on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna jam with my friends at this cafe in Venice, and he's like, I wish I could do that! And I'm like, but how is this the same party thing? Like, so I think it is difficult in some ways because you sometimes feel like you're yelling in an empty room or a crowded room and no one's listening. But then it's really validating when like someone from Zambia Googles you and buys your music. You're like, oh, hey, cool. Thanks, Zambia.
All our faces tell a story that our lovers come to know, etched in lines invisible, till the time comes to show traces of your trials past and smiles faded long ago, where he's carving deeper paths than the roots we care to grow. We're not growing a day younger, this much oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do. Oh, we're not growing a day younger, this much oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do.
Is there something else you could envision yourself pursuing?
I'd have to say I like working with children, especially very young children. They're really entertaining humans.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
They say amazing and interesting things. Like one day this kid was just having a really bad day and just said that everything was going wrong. And we were singing this song at circle time and he goes, wrong song, wrong song. And the co-leader of the toddler group I was with, she just said, oh, well, you know, she's just like, sometimes the world is a fragile place. And he just goes, I want that song. And she said, what song? He said, the world is a fragile place song. It's like, yeah, the world totally needs that song. So I wrote that song for him. And kid perspectives on things are just great. Like one of my 4-year-old clients was trying to ride exhaustion. And I told him that wasn't going to work. And he's like, well, she'll get bigger. I was like, no, that's her full size. I was like, you're going to get bigger, but she's not going to get bigger. And he was like, what? Like he couldn't conceptualize that like, since he was growing, that the dog would grow too, logically.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, he's like, well, she's smaller than me. She used to be bigger than me. She must be getting bigger soon.
Miraculously.
Yes. So, it always gives you a new perspective on things.
Your first album, As We Are, is, quote, based on Diaries of Anais Nin. Other than Anais Nin, are you influenced by anyone in particular?
I can't think of a particular person, though I do try to listen to a lot of music and read many, many books and talk to other people. But I'd say maybe I'd reorder those. Books, then music, then people. Is where I gain a lot of my inspiration and phrasing from. Yes. So I kind of go through periods where all I do is kind of absorb art. And then I make art. Then I absorb. And then I make.
It's like a cycle.
Exactly.
A cycle of making and watching.
Exactly. So I find if I have really bad, like, basically if I'm not writer's block, but I'm not feeling terribly inspired to write anything, that's a good time to read a novel.
Can you tell us a little bit about the video we were shooting today?
Yeah.
Your latest single, Heliotrope.
My latest single, Heliotrope, I was actually writing about the topic I was just talking about when I didn't feel inspired, and I was just like, I need to just write stuff. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just do the stuff you like, right? Life's short. Do stuff you like. And I wrote that song about that and just started kind of playing that chord progression on the piano. And I played a very rough version of it on a webcast I did. And people still write to me about that particular song in that webcast. And I was like, oh, that seemed to touch a nerve. Cool. And so that's where Heliotrope came from, and it was named in band practice by Daniel, who's in the video. Because he's like, it's like reaching for the sun, and it's that street where there's a really good ice cream shop. And I was like, yeah, I like both those things. So yeah, that's where the name comes from. And then the video, I had this dream that I was following a ribbon into the forest. And it was a red ribbon, and then I remember seeing Micah just like dash by in the forest. And I saw Nikita. So I'm like, my bandmates are in the forest. Okay. And then I started hearing music. And I was like, that's interesting. And I could see other people in the forest, but I couldn't see really what they were doing. And then I realized it was Heliotrope that was playing. And I woke up and was like, what is that all about? Then I went on a search for a forest that looked like that one and found it. And then I got ribbons. And then I convinced everyone to dance in the forest with ribbons.
Everyone should see.
I was like, I had this dream. Come, make it happen. Luckily, I have friends and bandmates who indulge me in strange flights of fancy like that.
So when is Heliotrope being released?
The single is coming out on my birthday, so on February 17th. And then the video, I believe we're going to finish shooting it this week. So it should be out within a few weeks of that. Potentially when I release the next single, which is going to be Remember This. So Heliotrope will be out on Bandcamp, and people can actually pre-order the album. So when they pre-order the album, that means as the songs come out, they get sent the songs, and then when all of them are done, they can choose to get a physical package of it. Part of the album. It'll be great. Yeah.
I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more. Just do what you love to do. Just do what you love to do. Death will come for us all and wrap us in her cold embrace. The only story you'll have then, throw one marked upon your face. Let it tell of all your passions, leaving nothing unsaid. Let her kiss all the secrets that you hold inside your head.
Do you use music as an outlet, do you think?
I think I do. Like, I'm a pretty mellow person, I would say. But I think if I didn't have music, I'd either be a lot more introverted and incapable of dealing with things than I am now. Like, I tend to process a lot through my music. So it's definitely kind of like an emotional filter and kind of a place to put all my mythologizing about people. Like, people complain, they're like, oh, have you ever written a song about me? Or, you know, things like that. And I'm just like, oh, I can only really write songs about either, like, horribly dramatic situations, situations that I totally dramatize within my own head, or situations that I make up that are totally dramatized and are based upon emotions that are ascribed to things that don't make any sense. So it's sort of that place where all of that goes. And so that way, when I'm actually in a situation, I deal with it in a much, I think, more reasonable way. That if I didn't have a way to kind of be like, blarg, here's my point of view on this that makes no sense. Yeah.
Would you say that Heliotrope is about something that's in your life then?
I think it was just a feeling of frustration of I felt like I should be writing more. Like it was after the Nice Nin album, and that was a very specific album and kind of a very intellectual album. And I felt as though all of my other songs either had to do with that or were dramatizations of relationships I'd been in or relationships my friends with each other. And I was just like, man, that's narcissistic. Man, what am I writing about? I need to write stuff. I was like, I'm getting old, and then I was like, I'm not getting that old, but I feel old right now. Ah,
A lot of frustration there.
yeah. I was feeling a bit angsty, and I was just like, I'm gonna bang on these chords on the piano because it's really fun, and I like octaves. And then, yeah, I was like, words, they'll come to me later. And so I was just flailing about, and sure enough, the song happened. And it's interesting because it is definitely an upbeat song, but it's about like, we're all gonna die, so do stuff you dig. Yeah.
That's a good message.
I try for the upbeat. My last album was about French people who are very dramatic with each other in each other's diaries. New album is about doing stuff because you're gonna die. It's cool. But the other song on Heliotrope, the flip side of it is Play My Heart, which is a lullaby. So that song's getting released at the same time.
What is your favorite song or album that you've made so far? Do you have anything that you particularly enjoyed making?
Usually my favorite thing is always the newest thing I'm working on. Whatever the newest thing is, it's always like the novelty takes over and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever done until I do something else. And then I'm like, this is the new best thing I've ever done. And just like, whatever. I've got to say, recording this album has been such a cool experience because I got to record it with my friends that I've been playing live with a lot, which was different than the first album. I think both were valuable experiences, but the first was kind of the learning curve of being in the studio, and this one's more like, okay, now I know how to be in the studio, and I know how to incorporate my bandmates that I play with live into the studio process, whereas before it's like I wrote everything, and I arranged everything, and it was like, you play this part. Whereas live, it's more like, I want you to go for this feeling. And my friends will kind of improvise on it, and we'll come up with something we like. And so I'm really proud of this album for that reason. That it was more collaborative. And I've got to say, I'm really excited to get the mix back of the next single, because the instrumental of it is just it's crazy. And hearing my friends, even on Heliotrope, like hearing Nikita's violin on Heliotrope, and like Mikey Barra does this like slide on an upright bass. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, do that more. like, oh, that's on my song. You did that on my song. I'm very excited. So, yeah.
What is your greatest ambition as a musician?
My greatest ambition. I would like to just be able to make a lot of music, because as I was talking about before, I do enjoy other work that I do, but few things are distinctly as satisfying as creating a product that I'm really stoked about. Whether that's a song, or like shooting the video today, or doing a photo shoot, or even recording on other people's albums is really fun. And playing on other people's songs, just being able to add something, like just being able to do a lot of that, creating things. And hopefully if people want to pay me money for it, then I can do more of it. That does become a problem sometimes, where I have too many ideas and not enough studio time. So yeah, self-sustaining musician, I think. Just being able to do it all the time.
What's next?
What's next? Well, Heliotrope's getting released. Album goes on pre-order. Remember This will come out as the next single after that, and the Heliotrope video will come out as well. And then the album is being released sequentially as, I believe I'm going to release it in singles, so it's pairs. That made no sense. You're like, yep, singles as in pairs. There's going to be like kind of like two contrasting songs on each pair.
Okay.
So it'll be like a traditional single where it's like one song and then like the B-side. And so yeah, and then
Bonus track.
and then if you buy the album, you get the whole shebang at the end. And after that, I've been working on some electronic music, and I've also already written several new songs I want on the new record. It will come out after this one, because nothing better than writing a record while you're working on a record. Yeah, so electronic music. Oh, and I'm in the band Princess Pangolin now, which makes me really happy. I play the omnichord and glockenspiel. They're a lovely group of humans, so I look forward to playing with them more. I'm going to be going to South by Southwest for the first time. Pretty rad. Going to play at my friend's gallery opening.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I'm playing at 2 house parties. Pretty good.
Do you have any advice for other aspiring musicians?
I'm trying to think of what wisdom I have to impart, or what wisdom I would have liked to have been imparted to me earlier. I think just keep doing it. Whatever it is, just keep doing it. Like whether it be playing the piano, or composing, or arranging, or singing, whatever it is, just keep doing it and practice a lot and get really good at it. Just keep at it, because eventually someone will take notice of what you're doing if it's good and be like, hey, I like this thing you're doing. So just kind of persistence is really important, I found. And also don't ever be embarrassed about anything you do, and just do it wholeheartedly. Because when I was younger, I was really mortified of singing in front of people because I'm not a trained vocalist, I'm a trained pianist. So I'd be like, oh, I'll play the piano in front of people. But I didn't sing really in front of anyone for a very long time. I sang in choir, and that was it. Because I was terrified that it wouldn't sound as good as my piano, and that was stupid. I look at some of my friends who are younger than me and older than me, who just wholeheartedly do their art and they're like, this is my art, this is what I do, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd reached that point earlier, but I didn't. Oh well. So whatever it is, just do it like 110%, and other people will eventually listen to you and congrats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See one more?
That is awesome. I feel like I'm in Neil Diamond or something. I think I feel nothing more than Vegas in front of there's like all these lights.
Surfing, jumping.
It's not good dancing.
I don't really know what he's talking about. To be quite honest.
I don't think
You mentioned Vegas.
This is
and
the
I
magic
don't
of
know.
my bandmate, is that sometimes we don't know what he's trying to tell us.
Okay, thank you. We need some tape. Where's the tape?
Oh.
All right.
Da, 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 da.
We're not growing a day younger, this much, oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do. Oh, we're not growing a day younger, this much, oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do. Just do what you love to do. We must write our own stories just as we want them told. Only through our own words can we turn this lead to gold. No one said that life was easy, no one said we'd be happy. Just hold tight to your own pen, never forget your own story. We're not growing a day younger, this much, oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do. Oh, we're not growing a day younger, this much, oh I know it's true. Let's not waste a moment more, just do what you love to do. Just do what you love to do.
Hey, you flail so good.
Flail so good.
You know,
I mean, whatever. Like, okay.